Hello, everyone's Forest Focus. Hopefully you don't feel as emotionally drained as I do. That was an unbearable watch, but an intense joy of relief, of victory, of whatever the right words are. I don't know. But Nottingham Forest have beaten West Ham 2-1 to go 7 points clear of the relegation zone, plus a half point, I guess, for goal difference. So everything feels much better tonight. We'll discuss the game in full. We'll take stock in the company of, first of all, Emily Williamson. Emily, how are you?
Exhausted, absolutely exhausted, but really, really happy. God, just feel so relieved.
I think
That
that
was
is the
epic,
word.
wasn't it? That was epic in the worst way. In the
It
worst
wasn't.
way.
Yeah, in the worst way. I mean, it wasn't epic in terms of quality or anything like that.
No,
We'll
no,
discuss
but
a
it
bit,
was,
but
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, we will discuss the quality of the performance, obviously, because that's what we do. But we'll discuss
Yeah,
the
just
emotion much
you
more
know what?
tonight.
I sent a message to my mate Emma, who I go to the football with, and I just said that was a dirty, dirty win. That was a dirty win, and I will take it. I will take that every single day. 3 points on the board, pulled away from West Ham, pressures on them, and we won in the ugliest way, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it was an absolutely disgusting win, but who cares?
Yeah, it was
Who
it was
cares?
it was grim. It was grim. Who cares? We got 3 points.
Oh, dear. Well, good to have everyone with us. Good to have Chris Aylmer with us. How are you doing?
Absolute roller coaster of emotions. At half time, I was turning to lads in the pub. I was down the road in the pub, and I turned to some of the Irish lads. I said, "I'm going after some of these players today," and that was at half time. They went 2-0 up. We'll probably talk about that. Marginal offside. I turned to Edward, who's capernacity and function, as you know, on here. I said, mate, we need our luck today. And we got the luck. And then we scored 5 minutes. I mean, just a roller coaster. And you know what? I love these wins. I love that I hate them, and I hate that I love them. I absolutely adore these kind of wins because they're grimy, they're gritty, they're dirty, as you said. And I'll be honest with you, I have some of the nonsense I was spewing in the pub. I mean, I've left my friend's WhatsApp group, the Man United fans. I'm asking them to let me back in because I left when we went 2-0 down, inverted commas, but unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm sure we'll get into the game a bit, but all that matters is 3 points today. That's all that matters.
It's just that gap to West Ham now. To win like that as well, Emily. The psychological damage on West Ham, a 7 point gap. We want to do more than be in a relegation battle, but we are in a relegation battle, and this was so big tonight, wasn't it?
It was, and I felt extremely nervous tonight. And when I say extremely nervous, I didn't want to eat. I felt, and you've just got that overall sense of dread and foreboding. And when they went 1-0 up, honestly, I was like, season over, we're getting relegated, prepare for the championship. We are in serious trouble. And West Ham probably thought, yeah, we're going to hold on for a 1-0 here. And I thought Nuno was going to do a Nuno honours. But the grit, the determination, the luck was on our side tonight, which it often isn't. We ground out a win, and that will be huge psychologically for those players. It was an ugly performance. I've already said that. A lot of players weren't playing to the best of their ability, but I have to say, particularly the last 10 minutes and injury time, the grit and determination shown by the likes of Nico Williams, it was incredible. And I cannot tell you how relieved and how happy I am. It's amazing, isn't it, how 90 minutes of football can turn a season on its head. Yes, we're in a relegation battle, but now we can see the wood for the trees, we can look up, and this could be the season defining moment for us. Mikey said on the preview podcast, didn't he, that this is a season definer and it's a must win. I never wanted to say it was a must win because I don't think any game is a must win. But the fact that we've won, the fact that we've pulled away from West Ham, the fact that we've done it in such a psychologically damaging way to them, I think they'll probably will go down now. I could possibly see other teams going above them, but I feel like this is the turning point for us. We'll see out January, see what happens with transfers in and out, and I just think we push on from here. It's huge, and it's stopped the rot. 4 games that we'd lost in a row, so that stopped. Mark Southern's put on our WhatsApp chat, didn't he, that it's the first time we've been down 1-0 down at half time since we've been in the Premier League and then gone on to win a game. So although it wasn't pretty, and I'm sure we'll talk about the detail of some of the insipid play that was in the game tonight, I just can't tell you how important it was that we got the win tonight, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. The only times I thought we played well were the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes after scoring, but it doesn't really matter beyond the result, but we will discuss that. Just before we get into the game, Chris, as well, the penalty, I mean, I felt physically sick. I had to watch it because of this. I don't know if I would have done otherwise. It was like the playoff semi-finals against Sheffield United again for me. What about you?
Unbearable. Only this time Gibbs-White scored, but yeah, unbearable because I was sat there with my hands clenched, looking to the sky like this. I was praying to the Lords and the gods that he just put it in. And I even said in my head, I said, "We'll just give it to someone like Anderson who's cool under pressure." And to be fair to Gibbs-White, I know it was straight in the middle of the keeper and then he got there. I was the same as you. I think, like Emily said there, all day I've been trying not to think about this game because you didn't think this season there'd be these kind of games. And all day I pretended to myself that these moments like the penalty and like this game didn't matter. I said, no, it's all about doing well at your job, having a good relationship with your wife. But actually driving home from work today, I thought, no, this does matter. And you know it does, Chris. And there's nothing you can do to get away from it. And that penalty moment was, that is the biggest moment of our season so far. It might end up being the biggest moment of the season, apart from when we win the Europa League. But it was absolutely blood-curdlingly sick. And I think everyone was probably in the same boat. And, fair play to those fans who went all the way down, Matt, my friend, and many others who went down to the game because they would have sat in the rain and had to sit at the end of the game going, gosh, we could take this. And we did. So unbelievable.
Yeah, shout out to Matt McPherson. Shout out to Temps was there, Mikey was there, Greg was there, probably others that we know as well from the pod. But yeah, congratulations to all the Forest fans. They certainly deserve that one. And thank you very much to Richard Perry. Appreciate you signing up for membership, Richard. Almost 700 people with us in 7 minutes, which is great. Do hit like if you haven't already and subscribe. The other big turning point potentially of the season, Emily, 50 minutes, that goal that West Ham scored, I was ready to go off on the players, our players, the manager, everyone. I mean, absolutely shambolic goal to concede, but we really got away with it. And at least we cashed in and went on to win.
I didn't even realise there was a potential offside. I was too busy writing notes to say on this podcast about how backwards rubbish pass in attacking pass could have potentially ruined our whole season. It was offside, really unlucky for West Ham, but had that been goal allowed to go in, the defending was just all over the place. There was no structure, there was no line. It's just like, oh, what are we doing? That wasn't a defining moment for us, wasn't it? And we obviously capitalised minutes later when we equalised. But when I thought we'd gone 2-0 down and watching Nuno celebrating like he was on the touchline, it was a really gut punch feeling. It was really like, we're done. But like you say, VAR was on our side tonight, and it was clearly an offside goal. So you take those moments, don't you? And thank God we found a way back into the game, because my worry was, going in 1-0 at half time, that Nuno put 10 men behind the ball and we wouldn't be able to break them down, because we can't really break down teams at the moment, can we? And because the first half was relatively poor, I just couldn't see a way of scoring. I said to my other half, I can't see where we score here. I don't know how and where we score. So how ironic that we score from a set piece, which is one of our weakest moments in games, both defensively and attacking. So it was just, everything just worked in our favour tonight. Obviously, apart from them as conceding early in the first half. But yeah, I mean, that was huge, wasn't it? It felt like a real let-off. It felt like a huge let-off then to not have them go to the looks. I think even with West Ham as poor as they are, 2-0 down at West Ham, we wouldn't have found a way back into the game.
Yeah, we're not writing to the PGMOL to complain about VAR tonight, are we, Chris? I mean,
No.
two things have gone our
Delighted.
way. Are we all converts now?
Oh, listen, I've always been a no, I'm joking. I'm delighted. I think there was a couple of the lads in the pub said to me, they go, geez, I like this ref. Like they were absolutely delighted with a couple of the decisions we had. I did think that the penalty was a foul, actually, because if that's a foul anywhere else on the pitch. Yeah. But we've seen them given recently. But for me, just the decisions, and early on not getting a few yellows or frees kind of going our way. Even the West Ham fans started to jeer the referee at times because they knew it wasn't going their way. It just felt that way. And I felt like Jekyll and Hyde on the referee and the players. First half, I'm absolutely being negative. And the second half, I turned it around before and I said, no, you know what, we can do this. And the ref and VAR did help us, but it was all the correct decisions. So it is what it is. We've had those go against us when they aren't correct, against Man City a week and a half ago. So we've deserved this rub of the green. We deserve this bit of luck. And yeah, I'm pro VAR now. Probably always have been, Rudy.
I mean, just to reiterate, it is a penalty. I know it's an
Yeah.
unusual one, Emily, but if a keeper comes out and smashes a bloke in the face and nowhere near the ball, then it's a penalty, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think goalkeepers are protected, and you know, for obvious reasons they're protected. But whether or not the ball would have landed on Morgan Gibbs-White's head or not, it probably wouldn't. But he took Morgan out. He whacked him in the face. There was no drama from Morgan in that. There was no acting. He didn't ham it up. 100%, 100% penalty. And I think the way you look at that is, would you have argued with that if it had been at the other end? And had Sells taken out Bowen, for example, in that way, he'd have gone hands up. Yep, it's a pen. My only concern, as soon as we got the penalty, like Chris said, was who's taking it. Because I was like, this is the most pressure that any player that steps up is going to have in a long time in a Forest shirt. And God, I love Morgan Gibbs-White, but I said, no, mate, no, 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 no. I didn't watch it. This is how I watched the penalty, like that. And I just listened to the sound, and then I watched the replay, and I was like, God, that was actually quite close. It could have just been saved from
He did almost
Ariola's
save it.
legs. He
Yeah.
did almost save it with his legs. It went straight down the middle, but huge respect to Morgan Gibbs-White, because that was a real captain's performance, a captain's moment. And you know, we're very quick to slag Morgan Gibbs-White up because of the esteem we hold him in. But I think tonight, particularly at the end, that penalty, God, he showed who he is, didn't he? And we needed him tonight. And yeah, God, what a legend! What a legend to take us 2-1 up. Yeah.
Who did you want to take the penalty, Emily?
Anderson.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Anderson and have you lost my sound?
No, I can hear you.
No, you're
You
here.
can hear me. Anderson in hindsight, but actually, sorry, Anderson at the time, but in hindsight, Anderson seems knackered at the moment. So I wonder whether he might have had some issues. So maybe he was the right person to take it. Yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, yeah, my heart would have been Anderson, and I'm Morgan Gibbs-White's joked, hasn't he, about not wanting to take penalties because he's missed quite a few, but he did well. He did well.
Yeah, I wanted Anderson to take it. Although, Chris, Elliot Anderson has fallen off a cliff, and he had another really bad game tonight. I'll put this at the top of really high at the show. Nicholas Dominguez held that midfield together at times, didn't he, tonight?
Yeah, and you know what? There was one point in the game where I was just like, this was when we were 1-0 down in the second half, and West Ham were kind of putting us under a bit of pressure. I just said, I said the stupidest thing. I said, roll the dice, just start taking midfielders off. I said to the lads, we'll get Dominguez off and we'll bring back one on. They all turned to me and went, whoa, shut your mouth. I was like, okay, sorry. And next thing you know, Dominguez pops up with the goal. And to be fair, he was better than Anderson all game. I just always feel that because Anderson's so talented, he can offer you something different if you need someone to change a game. Even Gibbs-White, who I didn't think had a great first half, but second half stepped up. You kind of want to keep those players on. But you know what? I hold my hands up. It doesn't matter. If someone's playing well, like Dominguez was, he was unbelievable today. Man of the match performance from him and Nico. I would say the two of them were probably joint man of the match. I'm sure we'll come to that at the end. But Dominguez today, the looping header, I mean, that just shows you on a slippy, wet night in East London, all you have to do is get your head to it, right? I mean, they scored from a set piece, we scored from a set piece, and then we got a penalty from a set piece. You just get in amongst it. His run from the inside out kept himself onside initially once Anderson took it. Great ball in from Anderson, to be fair. But Dominguez was unbelievable today. And there was one moment, one really, really important moment in the game where I think it was Bowen kind of bundled his way through the middle. And Dominguez came in. It wasn't 2-footed, it was like a challenge where he fell on his back and got rid of the ball and won it in the last few minutes. And I just thought, yeah, he's been absolutely unreal tonight. And he's been what we've been crying out for since Sangari left to the AFCON. We needed that midfielder to step up. Luis didn't quite do it. And Dominguez has gone in there today and given, practically a man of the match performance to either him or Nico. I'm sure we'll decide at the end, but unreal. Sorry for going on and on and on. But I am just, I've nothing more to say, but he was unbelievable.
Anderson does look absolutely knackered. So many of them look knackered. I mean, we can rest players in the FA Cup, thankfully, and I really, really hope we do. Just one on the subs, use of subs, Emily. I really wanted Dyche to get some fresh legs on there, but when you're looking at the bench, I mean, he can't trust them, can he? Because our players are absolutely gassed with 10, 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he didn't pull Jesus earlier, because he just looked spent. He just looked like he was absolutely done.
Callum Wendo's on his way and Taiwo's the other option, I guess.
Yeah, it's so I guess that, yeah, like you say, there's no other options. I'm surprised that Louise didn't get any sort of game time tonight. We only actually made one sub in the end, didn't we? Back, did we make
Well,
one or two? We
backwards. We
made
made
two in the end,
backwards
didn't we?
too, both
Back,
involving backward.
yeah. Um, a lot of the players looked off it tonight. Anderson looks tired. Callum Hudson-Odoi looked tired. Um, Jesus, we've talked about. So yeah, it's just a shame, isn't it? When I saw the starting lineup and I saw the bench, I was like, where are the game changers here? The only one really I could see was Douglas Luiz. Backwell was unlucky to be subbed on and then subbed off again. And I mean, he wasn't great tonight, was he? But it was possibly not the right sort of game for him. And Amari Hutchinson did not have a good first half either. He's been a real bright spark for us since he's found his place in the starting lineup. But he gave away a needless corner, which obviously led to their first goal. And he didn't really look right after that. He wasn't quite on it tonight. I don't know if it was nerves or a mentality thing. I'm not really sure. But a lot of players looked tired. So I would be calling for wholesale changes against Wrexham because, quite frankly, I couldn't care less if we're in the FA Cup or not.
Yeah. We'll have a match preview on Thursday, but I might even have a few kids' names in it. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet, but we will preview that in full. Right. Quick word for the Trent navigation, and then we'll get into the game in more details from the start. Big games are here. That one we have played against West Ham, and we have won. And then we play Wrexham on Friday night. You can watch it at the NAV, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Draft pints £4 and discount pizzas as well. So do get down to the NAV, enjoy the game. You don't need to book or anything. We shall just see you there on the evening. Right. Are you on the mic on Friday, Emily, or have you done your stint now?
I've done now. Fothers is back. He must be back soon. He's definitely back for the Arsenal game. Yeah, I've retired.
You carry on.
Retired after 3 games. It was good fun doing it, actually. It's quite nerve-wracking doing it in front of a big crowd at the Trent Nav, but no, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had no interest in doing it. I'm glad you did it.
I know. I loved how you passed that one on to me. That was really kind of you.
It was never in doubt. Trust me, never in doubt. Right, let's get into the game then. I mean, I actually thought we started quite well, Chris. A big moment. Areola made that save from Nico, but then we concede. We have got such a soft underbelly from set pieces still, haven't we?
Yeah, quite ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, that first 10 you're talking about, we were actually quite good. We were on the front foot. We looked like we were up for the game. I think there was a moment, the first kick of the ball, that they passed it back, Jesus went straight in to one of their defenders and sort of shoved him as if to say, we're here for this now. And I really liked that. I was like, okay, Dyche has got the players up for it. And the first 10 minutes we did show sparks. Same old stuff, crosses into the box, but the long shot from Nico, it's a really good save. Areola makes the tough saves and can't make the easy ones, apparently. So, yeah, unbelievable save. And obviously we'll talk about Hudson-Odoi had a goal later. Then they score. Yeah, I was absolutely fuming at that. I was going mad. It's just so typical of Forest this season to a set piece that Hutchinson shouldn't really have given away. He's dilly-dallying on the ball. You're thinking just boot the ball. He does a Cruyff turn. It kind of half comes off him. Some people would say it was a corner. Some people would say it wasn't. I don't care. Get rid of the ball. He doesn't do it. They take a corner. They whip it in near post. It missed a couple of heads. I think Souček might get a flick on. I can't remember if he did. He does, right. So Souček gets a flick on and then Murillo sticks in the back of his net. It's not good for Murillo and he knows it. And you're thinking in that moment, right? You're thinking, they've just scored in 12 minutes from a set piece. Areola's made the save, and you're thinking, this is already written in the stars to be, to have absolute vitriol spat at this game. But, luckily we turned it around. But that first 10 minutes, yeah, we were decent. But we need to be clinical, and we're not clinical. And that was what scared me. And, of course, they score from a set piece, which, yeah, it was disgusting, really. But, yeah, we looked a bit lost after that in the first half as well, didn't we? We looked like the heads had dropped.
Yeah, it's just the fine margins, to quote Mark Warburton. But, like Emily said, and Chris said, Hutchinson's got to do better there. Igor Jesus is on the front post as well. I don't actually blame Murillo for it because it was a flick. I'm going to go mad at my daughter if she keeps banging around in the background. Igor Jesus could have done better, certainly. So then we'll talk about how we reacted to that afterwards. But thank you very much to John Salt for the £5. Great result. Grit and effort got us over the line. We did manage the game well. We got the points. Been off the FA Cup. I hope people watch our post-match show on Friday night because people don't feel too bothered about that game, but they will do by then, I'm sure. The rest of the first half, Emily, I think Chris is right. Like I said, I thought we started well, but we got really disjointed. Jesus isolated, wingers on the touchline. You know, Hutchinson couldn't get in the game. Gibbs-White the amount of times I wrote Anderson and Gibbs-White lose the ball and they're supposed to be our two best players. It was really frustrating, wasn't it?
We kept putting the ball at risk in all the wrong ways, i.e., like you say, Anderson and Gibbs-White giving the ball away. I wrote down that it was frustrating. We dominated with possession, but that means nothing if you're not actually scoring goals. I thought it was sloppy. I thought it was passive. I thought the body language was all wrong. It felt like a team that had just gone 1-0 down to West Ham when West Ham are as rubbish as they are. And it was almost like there will have been a game plan and the game plan went wrong, didn't it, after 13 minutes? And I don't think Forest knew how to get out of it until half time. So I have to say I was quite relieved that it was only 1-0 at half time because I didn't really see us scoring. Obviously, we've talked about Nico's chance early on just before they scored. And was it in the first half that Callum Hudson-Odoi also nearly scored? I think it was just before half time, wasn't it?
41 minutes,
off the post. So, had that gone in, that might have changed the perspective of the game. But I'll be honest with you, as I said earlier, at half time, it just felt like I just couldn't see a way back into the game. And it just felt really, really sloppy and not the Forest that I want to see, really. We seemed devoid of any ideas, and there was no one really that was playing to a standard that we'd expect in the first half.
It's not a relevant point now, although it's going to be a very relevant. It could be a relevant point again later in the season, certainly in the summer. But at half time, were you ready to cut Dyche loose, Emily, or was that premature?
What good would that do? I was ready to admit defeat. And when I say that, I mean, are we on the downward spiral on our way to the Championship? That's how it felt, because I couldn't see a way out. I thought we're going to lose lots of players, going to have to rebuild. Your mind starts spiraling, doesn't it? But I don't think sacking a manager is the answer. We've done that too many times this season. We've got to stick with what we've got, I'm afraid. And, you could say what you like about Dyche, but he is our manager at the moment. And I think that we're in a relegation fight. And I think he's the guy I want at the helm, because what other options have we got? Give me some options. There aren't any.
Well,
I'd take Dyche. Yeah, I'd take Dyche over Nuno right now.
It's not a great list.
It's not pretty, is it? Because I don't think we'd get Maresca or Amorim. I don't think we could tempt them to the City ground. So, at no point did I think Dyche out. But what I did think was this could be the moment that sends us down.
Yeah, like I say, I looked at a list. I mean, there was Maresca and Amorim were on it, but they're not going to take the job. This is irrelevant in the short term, certainly. Southgate was on it. He wouldn't take it. So, yeah, we needed that win to ease the conversation. I mean, the people still aren't sold on the manager in the chat, and it's a definite conversation for the summer. But at least we're stopping the rot, Chris, just to go back to the main point, stopping the rot and stopping, or at least easing the conversation about the manager that people are having. Because, a fourth manager of the season it's been chaotic already, but it's absolutely farcical. So we have to avoid that at all costs and then review in the summer, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, of course we do. What's funny is that how on a knife edge was this game that Matt Davies is writing down the lists of managers that we can potentially get at halftime. And West Ham are probably thinking, right, we'll stick with Nuno now. And now it looks like he'll probably get sacked. It was such an on the edge, on the balance game for both managers. And both of them didn't do themselves any favors today. But what I would say is it's difficult because if you ask me, with Cooper, I wanted him to stay on and on and on. With Dyche, I really like him as a manager, and I think that it's kind of our last best hope this season. And I might be wrong about that. But at the same time, I understand that if you lose 5 games in a row and the 5th game is to West Ham away, and you lose 2 of those games to Everton and Fulham, then you're under pressure no matter what. So it's weird. It would have been a weird thing where I don't want it to happen. I don't want to get that 4th manager, but at the same time, I would have understood why it happened. So yeah, no, look, I don't think we should, and I wouldn't have thought we should after this. I would have said ride it out for a few more games, but you'd have Arsenal next. If you lose the game to West Ham today, you probably go into that game and lose that game to the best team in the league. And then it's 6 in a row. And then there's nothing you can say. It's down to facts and results, like I said about Ange. So I have to stick to my principles. So no, I wouldn't have wanted them gone. But what a knife edge of a game for both managers tonight. And I suppose, as horrible as it sounds to say, that is why we love football. Will all the fans be like, this is horrible, West Ham and Forest fans tonight? But actually, I mean, this was the game of this midweek game week. Like, everyone had their eyes on this game because they knew what it meant for both coaches. And now all the pressure will be on Nuno, and the fans were singing his name. The Forest fans were singing his name, ironically, which was great to see. But no, I would have wanted to stick with Dyche, but I would have understood if he'd gone. And that's not me fence-sitting. That's just the truth.
Well, we'll do more on this tomorrow. We're on it. Kelvin Peter on tomorrow, and we'll do a bit more big picture. But West Ham's upcoming fixtures, they've got Spurs away next after the FA Cup, Sunderland at home, Chelsea away, Burnley away, Man U at home, Bournemouth at home. I mean, they probably need to win 4 out of the next 6 games, and tough to see. I suppose, Emily, we'll get back to the game, but at least we can not feel like we're just fighting for 17th. Maybe we are, but we're in the pack again now with Leeds and Bournemouth. So is this a catalyst to get better, or does the performance tonight show that we're still miles away?
I think we're still a bit off it, aren't we? Because it was a dreadful performance, and tonight's win's papered over the cracks. So I'm not looking to have a flying mid-table finish. I'll still take 17th. What it does is it eases the pressure, doesn't it? And it eases that worry going into the Arsenal game. My fear tonight was that if West Ham had won, we go into Arsenal game under pressure, we play under pressure, and the likelihood is Arsenal are going to win that game anyway, but we can now go into it with freedom, because it doesn't really matter what happens, and it would be very Forest, wouldn't it, to pull off a performance against Arsenal and go and win it. But yeah, I think at the moment, I'm happy that we're 7 points clear plus good goal difference out of the relegation zone, and I'll take that. I still can't believe that that's where we are, but that is where we are. So yeah, no. In short, I think at the moment 17th is probably where we should be.
Same question to you, Chris, with regards to hopefully climbing the table, but do you still feel like tonight showed there's still a gulf between us and the teams above us, or not?
Well, at halftime, I turned to one of the lads and said, I would kill for 17th right now. So it changes moment to moment. I think the difference here is the pressure is relieved massively. It doesn't mean it's off completely, but it's relieved massively because, as everyone knows, you get to about 11 wins and you're probably going to stay up. We've now got 6. West Ham have got 3. So they've a long way to go back, and we've got a bit of time and pressure. Doesn't mean it's done. But in terms of what do I feel in terms of kicking on up the table, it depends on, look, it all depends on teams like Bournemouth and Leeds and stuff. I don't think we're going to catch, unfortunately, even though Crystal Palace are on a really bad run, the likes of Crystal Palace. And the reason why is because if Bournemouth cannot win a game in 11 and still be a few points clear of us because of their start, same with Palace, same with some of those mid to bottom table teams, or Brentford can be in relegation scrap and now all of a sudden a couple of points off Champions League places. It can change at any moment, but we haven't changed. We have always been in that 16th to 19th bracket. So unfortunately, 21 games in, we've got to probably just accept we're here for the ride between 15th and 17th, and hopefully we stay up. And I think that that's where we deserve to be based on our form. That's where we deserve to be. We need a few wins in a row to climb out of that. So I'm looking at 16th to 19th. Actually, I'm looking at 16th and 17th, and hopefully that is West Ham gone now.
I suppose the other thing, just quickly on transfers, Emily, it probably depends what we do in January, doesn't it? It looks like Callum Wendo's going. It's mad to think we need another striker, but we clearly do. I mean, tonight show it, because Igor Jesus doesn't look like he's going to score any goals, but then are we creating anything for him still? I don't know.
I think that the way that we play doesn't suit him. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think he's a striker. I think he's much better as a 10. He's really good at holding up play. Tonight he didn't have a great game, but I've said for the last few games we are in desperate need of a target man. We need a Chris Wood replacement. We need someone that knows how to find the back of the net, someone that's in those moments to poach a goal, whether it's on the head, whether it's from a counter-attacking run, and we've not got at the moment. It just shows, doesn't it? If you look at our scorers this season, Morgan Gibbs-White, I think, is our top scorer, but all our goals are coming from midfield. We're in so need of a striker, and I think that's what's been missing the last few games, because all those balls into the box against Everton amounted to nothing because Jesus isn't that target man. Same again tonight in this first half, really. We got a lot of balls in the box with little from it. We were relying on strikes from Nico and Callum Hudson-Odoi, which obviously didn't go in. So for me, the prime target in January is a striker, whether it's a lone striker, but again, it needs to be someone that's Premier League proven. And I know a lot of people have turned their nose up at Strand Larsen, but he could be a good. He knows the Premier League. He knows how to score, and in a good team, maybe he'll know where the back of the net is again.
I suppose we have to get players closer to him as well. I mean, second half we marginally did. I could see Morgan running into the box second half, Chris, and just on Bakwa. I mean, I thought it was a good sub. It was a real whatever the word is, Jekyll and Hyde performance from Bakwa, wasn't it? He had such good moments that they took their left back off, but then, as Emily said, he gave the ball away. He's slow to move to it. I guess it showed he's young and inexperienced as well, didn't it?
Yeah, and I feel a little sorry for him because he had to be that sacrificial sub at the end. I mean, I probably thought we would have taken Callum Hudson-Odoi off at that point because he was knackered. But I felt like Bakwa today when he came on, I kind of expected that bit of spark, and I never really saw it. I saw it a couple of times down the byline, but then there was a couple of moments where loose balls were spilled into the midfield, and he was second to them. And there was 2 or 3 of those moments, one in which they broke from, West Ham broke from, and I think Bowen got into the box. And they're the moments where I'm like, yeah, you go down the byline, take on players, all that, but we need you for the second balls today because this is a rainy night on a Tuesday in West Ham Stadium. We need you for those second balls. That's what I need you for. So those are the moments where I was disappointed. But his dead ball, I thought the delivery was quite good, actually, from a couple of the corners. I was very impressed with that. I thought, look, him getting down the byline a couple of times, he looked lively. And obviously it's a big time to come into a game, but we pay the money for that. We expect you to be that spark. West Ham's striker they brought in certainly wasn't that spark. He smashed the ball to the corner flag. But Bakwa, yeah, it was the second balls, and those are the moments where I was a little disappointed with them. But I do feel a little sorry for him because he has to come into a game like that, and he hasn't had much game time.
Yeah, tough market as well. I mean, people in the chat are saying, Ivan Toney can't see it, but he's on huge money, and Callum Wilson on a free. I mean, a good player, but he's injured all the time, so it's not the best market to deal in. Which is kind of why I'd like to see Callum Wendo, but it looks like he's off to Frankfurt still, according to reporting. Anyway, right, we get the goal, Emily. We go 1-1. You have to be honest here. Are you taking a point at that point after about 70, 75 minutes, the way it was going?
Yes, I am. Yep. I think I said it on the chat as well. I will 100% take a point. I didn't even think we'd get a point because we were clearly, it felt like we were playing for the point, and we were still being particularly passive. West Ham was still breaking. Every time they went forward on a break, they looked dangerous. So I was desperate just to take a point because I thought, actually, do you know what? A point's decent for us because it keeps the gap at 4 points. It's terrible for West Ham because they've not gained on us, and we're away from home, blah, blah, blah. You say all these things in your head, don't you? So I'll be honest with you, I didn't see us winning at 1-1. I was quite happy to go home with 1 point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, every time Bowen got the ball, Chris. I know Nico had a really good game, but Bowen's class, and I was so nervous every time he got it. There were too many worrying moments. I was ready to take a point at 75 minutes. What about you?
Yeah, no, I was, because of the reasons Emily gave. It's a point is worse for them than it is for us. So that was my mantra in my head. And because I knew that momentum would swing back and forth and both teams would put balls in the box on this rainy night where it's slippy, and you know that anyone can score at any point. I mean, we got a penalty late, for God's sake, from a set piece. So that's why I was thinking, look, I'd take it now. I suppose the new enthused second half, Chris, was thinking, there was moments where I was thinking, you know what, when Ireland were 2-1 down, we went on and won the game late and against Hungary. And I was thinking that Scotland did the same. I was
You
just
want
had
us to
that.
sign Troy Parrott?
Sign Troy Parrott, get him in. Get him in. He scored 5 goals against Portugal and Hungary. But I do. I'd stand by that. But I think that I was thinking in my brain, you know what? I turned to one of the lads, and first half I was going crazy. Second half, I turned to Edward again, and I said, do you know what? We there's another goal in this. There's another goal in this. And even at that set piece, I said to the lads, we're going to score from this. And we got the penalty. We didn't score from it, but you know what I mean? I think sometimes you have to gear yourself up to be more positive. You have to let the emotion go of the negativity. I was so negative first half, so negative at halftime, shouting at my phone, show me something. Morgan Gibbs-White, some of these players, you're meant to be worth 160, 50 million. Show me something. And sometimes you have to let it go and allow yourself to be positive. And I think I did that near the back end of the game and thought, you know what, one of the teams is going to take this and maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be thinking take a point. We should be thinking go on and win the game. But just the way it was going, there were a couple of really big moments that also in that second half. And I mean, Murillo's block from Bowen was elite defending.
Oh God, yeah, that was.
And
incredible.
the other one, I was so pleased Matt Sells came back into the team. John wasn't even in the squad, but that was a really good and really important double save, especially the first save from Walker Peters, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't like to dig out our players, but I have to admit, when I saw Sells was playing tonight, I already felt a little bit more safe and secure. Sells didn't have an awful lot to do, but that double save in the second half was brilliant and obviously kept us in the game. And I thought Sells had a really, really good game. Yeah, there were. Do you know what? The second half, I think because I was so stressed, it feels like a blur. And I've just looked. I didn't realise how late Morgan Gibbs-White penalty was. I thought it was about the 80th minute, 89th minute penalty. It was just, do you not think the second half just went like this and everything was just, it was just completely nuts. And then the 7 minutes injury time felt like about 3 weeks. I thought, is this game ever going to end? But actually, if I was a West Ham fan in that injury time, I'd be furious because they were prattling about with the ball, weren't they? Left to right, sideways passing. So actually, in all honesty, it was quite safe towards the end. And yeah, I can't remember what the question was.
Oh, no,
But yeah,
it doesn't matter. It was probably a
Do you know what?
long-winded
Do you
one
know
with
what?
about 3 options or something.
Got the win. We got the win. Sells made a great double save and he made some really good saves. And I'm really glad Sells is back. And I think he was unlucky for the goal that we conceded. So good on you, Sells.
Just on managing the game. Oh, go on. Feel free to add to that, Chris, but also
just about Matt Sells, because he's had a bit of a rough season. He got injured at a time where Dyche eventually dropped him after the injury because John was doing okay up to the other week. Just on Matt Sells, sometimes as well, when there's a certain type of keeper in goals, the forwards might be thinking, players like Bowen, players like Somerville, they might be thinking they have to do more to score against him. And today was a day where you could shoot from distance, or you could swing balls in the box, or you could have a crack low and the keeper might fumble it. It was wet, it was slippy. So I think that plays into it as well. You know, players might just feel like Bowen had that chance and then it was a double save. He got up quick for it, because if he doesn't get up quick for it, it's probably deflecting off and maybe going the goal. I know people will say they were both point blank at him, but that second effort, I think it was smashed at him. Players feel like they have to do a bit more against a keeper like Sells. It's the psychological aspect of it as well. It's the psychological aspect of today was the first time this season, I think, since in 4 months since we've had our whole back five back. Aina, Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo, and Sells. It's been about 4 months since we've had that full back five, and that plays into the psyche and it brings calm as well. So that's all I wanted to say about that. What was the other question?
I'd just say there's over 1,000, almost 1,100 people with us, which is great. So do hit like you haven't already. TW23's addressed what I was going to say in the chat. Just it's worth flagging as well. We did play well in the last 10 minutes after taking the lead. I thought experience came to the fore, especially with Nico, Chris. I thought he was really good that last 10 minutes after we scored. Nico
Unbelievable.
Williams and Dominguez, but Nico Williams mostly.
Unbelievable, both of them brilliant. Nico Williams, I mean, the 2 or 3 moments in the space of 5 minutes that make a really big difference. 2 or 3 clearing headers, a block on one of Bowen's efforts from the outside. He stood Bowen up. He didn't let Bowen go on the inside. When he went the outside, he blocked the ball, and then winning that ball back in the last and doing a little 1-2 with himself down the line and getting the free kick. 2 or 3 huge moments. And you know what? He's been our best player all season, Williams. Let's be honest. He's been our best player all season, our most consistent player. And in the end, in those last 5 minutes, we managed the game well, but the big players showed up in the big moments. And Nico Williams was one of them, you know?
Yeah.
I also think Morgan Gibbs-White as well, towards the end, really showed his captaincy.
Running. Yeah.
Just both of them running. But Nico Williams, I'm just going to repeat because I just think he's that good. He is, for me, the best Forest player for industry, for tactics, for everything. And I know Pete is the founding father, isn't he, of the Nico Williams fan club, but I would like to be vice president because honestly, I just think that man's tenacity, everything about him, I want to inject that into the rest of the players' veins because if everyone played like Nico, we'd be winning the league. Honestly, I just love that man. Love that man.
Yeah. Morgan was interesting. After he scored the penalty and he showed up well in injury time. Before that, I don't think, certainly first half, I thought he was really disappointing giving the ball away. And also just worth reiterating, when they scored that goal, I was so annoyed at Morgan getting bullied off the ball by Somerville. It was a real big moment, but he did come to the fore and he stuck the penalty away. So yeah, good on him in the end, certainly. Right, that sort of leads nicely into man of the match because we discussed Nico Williams and Nico Dominguez. I've already said I thought Nico Dominguez was our man of the match, even ahead of Nico Williams. What about you, Emily?
I thought Dominguez had a really good game. And, you know, I wouldn't argue with you on that one. I think that'll be fine. I thought Sales had a good game. But I have to say, I've already waxed lyrical about him. For me, Nico Williams, head and shoulders above everyone else on the pitch tonight. For all the reasons that I've said, he kept us in the game and he was so cool, calm and collected, particularly in those last 10 minutes. He goes about his business every single match, running up and down that pitch, covering every blade of glass, blocking chances, going forward with the ball, getting crosses in the box. He does everything. And tonight, it was a poor performance overall from the team, but Nico Williams always stands out, and he did tonight for me. And I would definitely give it to Nico Williams.
Shout out for Lorena. I can see people in the chat rightly saying, you know, good to have him back. A steadying influence, even though he wasn't spectacular. It's good to see him playing 90 minutes, and fair play to him for playing that well after so long out. So yeah, good shout out for him. What about you for man of the match, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I said it already. I think Williams just was the most consistently good player on the pitch, ahead of every player on the pitch, including West Ham's players. I'd give it to Williams. I would. And like I said, those 3 big moments at the end where, you know, clearing headers and block tackles and big moments that make a difference in the game. I think Dominguez is right close second, though. And he just, even the first half, as poor as we were most of the first half, Dominguez was still quite good. He was still the leader in the midfield. He was industrious. He rarely gave the ball away. He was still quite good in a poor first half. Second half scores the goal that gets us back into the game. So that gives him an edge. And then obviously just from there on in, brilliant. So the 2 Nicos, if you could do a double Nico man of the match, I'd love to do it, you know?
Let's do it. I'm just looking at the what are they called? AFCON results. Ivory Coast won 3-0 tonight, so they're through. I think they're playing Egypt next. Sangare started, so
yeah,
I mean, good for him.
The final, basically.
Yeah, I want him to come back.
Yeah, I want him to
just don't get injured.
Yes.
Don't get injured or ill. Come back full fitness because we need you back in the team. I've been meaning to say it for ages. We miss Sangare so much.
Keep it quiet. Yeah, the superstitions will kick in there, Emily. No, I'm joking.
No, don't say nothing. Say nothing. No, yeah, and yeah. Do you know what? Tonight needed Ryan Yates. Tonight 100% needed Ryan Yates. Say what you like about Ryan Yates, but he would have bossed it tonight because he'd have got under the skin of the likes of Bowen Paqueta. He'd probably got Paqueta sent off. So yeah, it did need him tonight. And I should have mentioned Olorena because I'm the founding member of his fan club. He's not back to his full fitness. He's not back to his incredible self. But my God, it's good to have a right back in that's a right back and knows how to defend and is great. And that's no disrespect to anyone else that's filled in for him, but Olorena knows how to defend a ball, and I think once he sort of ticks in, we'll get the Olorena back that we know and love. And he looks like he's built himself up a bit, doesn't he? Look like a real muscle man tonight.
We might pick up on this tomorrow. It was interesting to us we didn't get on at all, and like you say, I wouldn't have started Yates, but he would have been useful off the bench. I think he would have come on with 15 minutes to go in that game. And obviously Sangare we have really missed. But again, Dominguez you couldn't have rested Anderson in that game, but it affords you an opportunity. No. So you could have bought Anderson off, actually, to be honest, in that game. But he did put in a good ball. The won a penalty and he got an assist. Right. Final thoughts just before we get into wrap up, Chris. What do you want to add before we go?
Just that these the Wolves game, the West Ham game, the Leeds game, they're going to be the important games this season. And when you feel the way we all felt before the game, we've all spoke about it, how you're trying to pretend it's not a big deal because you don't want to feel the pain of the nerves. We all knew on the calendar a few weeks ago, months ago, we knew this was the big one because Nuno was in charge. And we now it came down to crunch time because both teams have been so off form. West Ham have had a big chance over this Christmas period to catch Forest. Big chance, and they've absolutely blown it. We lost 4 games in a row. We haven't won a game since the Spurs win 4 or 5 games ago, and they had a huge chance to make up some ground, and they didn't do it. And tonight, they didn't do it. They didn't do it against Wolves. They should have won one of these 2 games and they didn't do it. So for us, that's huge. And as much as I want to dig those players out for that first half performance, the bit of character in there at the end from a lot of them, Gibbs-White, Nico Williams, Nico Dominguez, you have to say this is a big turning point. It's the one moment that seesaw tips the other way. And I think we should survive now based on tonight's game and tonight's result. And I do believe we will win the Europa League.
I don't, but okay, fair enough.
I think we're going all the way.
Well, I was just looking at the table then before we go to Emily. West Ham, 14 points. I mean, Burnley could overtake them with the game in hand, but say West Ham somehow get 22 points from their final 17 games to go to 36. We'd only need probably 15 or 16 points from our last 17 games. I mean, I know you said, Emily, papering over the cracks. It's like a day 4 pitch and the spinners are coming on and there's a lot of cracks still to work with, but surely we can get 16, 17 points from here, can't we? Even though we've got a lot of work to do based on recent performances.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I say papering over the cracks, I mean we're in a dire situation at the moment because we're fighting a relegation battle, and it's such a difference to last season. If we can't make 15 or 16 points, we probably don't deserve to be in the Premier League. So I would feel very confident that we can do that. Chris was just talking about sort of the mentality at the end, and mentality is such a huge part of the game, isn't it? Because they're all professional footballers, they're all elite athletes, but the mentality, the psychology, it's often just as important as the tactics on the pitch. And I do think tonight's win psychologically will really help some of those players, maybe the ones that weren't quite sure about it, ones that maybe thinking, God, we're ever going to win a game again? That's 4 losses on the bounce. So it makes a huge difference. And I back Chris. I am thinking Forest are going to win the Europa League. I still thought that even when I was thinking about us potentially being relegated, I thought, will we be the first side in history to win the Europa League and get relegated to the Championship? So we'll be playing Champions League football in the Championship. But yeah, Europa League all the way. If we can get 16th, 17th in the Prem, Europa League final, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a conversation for tonight. I do think probably every other Premier League team might have beaten us tonight, so, which I know people are going to say is negative, but I suppose the hope is
you can only play
it's
who is in front of you. You can only play who is in front of you. This same team managed to beat Liverpool 3-0 at Anfield. So I'm sorry, it's 3 points and I'll take it.
And could I just say for the comments, right? People are saying we won't beat Villa. If we meet Villa early, you're right, we might not beat Villa. They're way better than us. But Villa got to the semi-final of the FA Cup last year and they froze because they haven't won a trophy in a long time and Palace hammered them 3-0. They froze. If we get Villa late in the semis or the final, I think we can turn them
arguing about winning the Europa League.
I'm not arguing. I think we can go all the way. I thought we were getting relegated and doing it. I thought the same. It was very rock and roll. Do you know what I mean? We can do both.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, look, it's not a Europa League conversation. We're talking about the Premier League tonight and that is a huge win. But I'm excited. And for that there tonight, that's what it's all about. The hard time coming out the other side. Imagine being a West Ham fan tonight. Bless them. They must be absolutely devastated. Sitting there in the rain at the end, looking on into the distance. wondering where it all went wrong.
I know. I mean, I know I'm saying every other team would have beaten us. The thing that you hope this does is it gives confidence, as Emily says. And when we go to Brentford, we get a point. And maybe we get a point against Arsenal. And, you know, after that, as Chris always says, I'm a big fixtures guy. The fixtures do ease. And then hopefully you get a bit of momentum. And then we will have a big conversation about Sean Dyche in the summer. But, yeah, tonight's definitely a good night. I hope this video plays quite a good note to end on. Let's see if it does. Don't tell people Tamps was in the. I think he was in the posh seats. I think he said I could play that video, but fair play to him for being there. Right, I think that's just about it. We're back tomorrow at noon anyway. Over 1,100 people with us, which I love to see, because as I always say, it means we either had a really good night or a really shit night, and tonight's been a really good night. So let's certainly enjoy that, and we'll be a bit more circumspect tomorrow, but one to enjoy tonight. Right, Emily, I'll give you another chance. Is there anything you want to add? Because I feel like I pissed on your chips a bit there, but anything you do want to add?
Just to say, keep the faith, everyone. It's been really tough being a Forest fan at the moment. I've really struggled with it over the past few weeks, and it can really bring you down and bring your mood down and make you feel really crap. So enjoy moments like tonight. There is still a little bit of negativity, I feel, an undercurrent of negativity among some people, which is fair enough, but try and enjoy the wins, because it seems like they're few and far between this season, and we've all got to rally behind Sean Dyche and the team, because we don't have any alternative. And I have complete faith in this side, and I have complete faith in Sean Dyche. Come on, you Reds, we can do this.
Yeah, an undercurrent of fear, I think, is what remains amongst a few of us, certainly. James says, please mention good set piece delivery. I think we have a bit. Yeah, Elliot Anderson, obviously, for the goal and the penalty, and Bakwa, actually, you know, as we said, a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah, he did put good balls in as well, so worth mentioning. I'm just kind of enjoying it that we shouldn't just finish yet. But Chris, anything you want to add?
Just that, you know, look, we've had a terrible season in the league, and we've managed to turn around our European form under Dyche, and hopefully we can get top 8 in that, because we have a couple of big games at the end of the month as well. You know, I see people mentioning that I'm delusional in the chat, and you're right. I am delusional. I am absolutely delusional. This season, I thought we'd be top 10 and we'd be fighting for that European final, and I'm going to stay delusional in the Europa League, and I'm going to stay delusional in the Premier League, and just hope we just do it now. 5 games to go. I think 11 games will probably keep us up. 5 more wins, we can get them, and these are the nights where you're fighting before half time with your mates in the pub, arguing over who you think is terrible, and then in the second half, you're turning around going, we were all right about this. We're okay. So let the negativity feed the positivity. Tonight, we won a game, and I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to celebrate that, and you should too.
Let the negativity feed the positivity. It's a really good line. Did you think of that on the fly?
Yeah, I don't even know what it means.
It doesn't mean anything, but it's really good. The best ones don't mean anything, really.
Use it. Clip it up.
I might do. Well, Pete said, expletive me, Chris is bringing the intensity tonight. I feel like he's going to climb out of my TV. You have brought good intensity.
Peace!
No, I love it.
Yeah. No, fair play. This is a big moment. Like I know we were down about beating Wolves away, and we're down about beating West Ham away, but we should be happy about this. We just lost 4 games in a row and watched some absolute dross the last 4 games. Now we actually get to be excited about the dross, and the luck went our way. The luck fell our way today, and yeah, we should be happy. Shout out to Pete, shout out to Elliot, shout out to loads of people out there. Yeah, legends.
Oh yeah, shout out to Elliot as well. I know he's had a tough time. Listener Elliot, who I periodically mention on here for giving me crap about talking about winnable games. So shout out to him. Right, well done to Emily and Chris. Good panel tonight. I thought that was a good discussion. I enjoyed it, mostly because of the result, but I really enjoyed that last 53 minutes. So yeah, do hit like before you go. Do subscribe. We are back tomorrow with Pete and Kelv, and then we'll have a Wrexham preview, possibly a Wrexham opposition preview. And then a Wrexham post-match show on Friday night. And then I might just go to sleep for the entire weekend. I don't know. But thank you to Emily. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to everyone who joined us. And if we don't see you tomorrow, we shall see you soon.